This presentation is an explanation on how to use the Teks kiosk screens. Teks Australia currently supplies two types of exercise isokinetics. One is a manual resistance and the other is a servo resistance. The first part of this presentation is going to go into detail on the manual resistance, and we'll address the servo or speed controlled system in part 2 of this presentation. It is highly suggested that you become familiar with how to navigate around the TRS before operating any kiosk. When you log into the system, you'll notice there are two key icons. One is the TRS icon, which has the screwdriver and the spanner, and the second is the kiosk icon. For this demonstration, we'd like you to double click on the kiosk icon. The first step we're going to explore is how to log in as an individual. Once you have entered in a new member on the TRS, you'll have access login to the kiosk screen. Enter the member's details in the field shown. Once you have entered in the member's username and year of birth, we'd then like you to follow through and hit the individual login button. Once your information has been entered in successfully, you'll be brought to the kiosk home screen where all the pre-loaded programs that you have previously entered on the TRS will become available. As you can see, the top half of the screen is where all the programs are listed and you have the option to select. The bottom half of the screen is the detailed reps and sets of each individual program. A little later we'll go into an explanation on how to begin a program, but this completes how to log in as an individual. Now I'm going to explain how to log in multiple users on one kiosk system. Start by hitting the group button and then the top left athlete 1 button. You will then be brought to the login screen where you'll enter in the individual's details just as we would for an individual login. Once again, you'll be brought to the kiosk home screen where you're able to select programs. Once you have decided on what program you'd like to select for this particular individual, in this case we have selected Extreme Power, then hit continue. You'll instantly be brought back to the group screen. This time hit athlete 2 and then again prompt the second individual's data through the login screen. Once you have logged in, again you'll be brought to the kiosk home screen. Select what program you would like this individual to complete. Once you have selected the program, click continue. It's very important to note that these programs do not have to be the same. While for this demonstration we have selected the same program, the kiosk and the TRS are capable of running two separate programs at different times. From here you'll be brought back to the group screen. If you wish to select any other athletes, do so. If not, simply hit continue and enter into the first person's name. If you're looking to upload more than 4 individuals on a kiosk at a time, we suggest uploading a team. You can upload a team through the TRS, but it's very important that when you log into the kiosk, you log in as an administrator. Once you're in the home screen of the administration, you'll see that there's 3 options down the bottom. We'd like you to hit team, and then it will ask to confirm what team, and then if you hit yes, you'll see that all the members of the individual squad that you've preloaded in the TRS will now become available on the kiosk screen. An important consideration to remember is that when the TRS asks you to set up a team, it will ask for a program. Now everyone in this squad will be completing the same program. If you do need different individuals to be following different programs, we suggest you follow an individual group login format. From here you'll be brought to the set home screen. This screen shows all the details of the exercise your patient is about to perform. The first thing you'll notice is 2 boxes that have resistance dial or extension left and resistance dial flexion right. These are your instructions to follow to manually change the dial resistance. And now would be a good time for you to manually change the dials. Below the resistance dial instructions, you'll see a set summary. This is a summary of what the individual is about to complete. The exercise type is the squat, the count duration is 14 reps, the range of motion for a squat is 15 degrees, the set number of 1 of 13, and there's also a target torque and a target speed. All of these fields will be entered in at the TRS level. Once the individual is ready to perform, simply hit continue. Once hitting continue, the individual will be given 3 seconds to begin repetitions. The first thing you're going to notice is the range of motion dial setting in real-time feedback. As you can see, this dial will move to 15 degrees to count a full repetition. If the individual doesn't move the dial to the full 15 degrees and back to 0, the repetition will not count. As the repetitions begin to be completed, you'll see that they do count down in reps. In the bottom right hand corner of the screen, you'll notice the degrees per second, the speed at which the individual is completing the reps. Make sure all the reps are completed before finishing the set. Once all the reps have been successfully completed, you'll notice there's a set summary at the bottom of the page. First of all, the system will record which peak rep the individual recorded peak torque with extension and flexion. In this case, you'll notice that peak extension torque was rep 10 at 828 Newton meters and peak flexion torque was rep 6 at 695 Newton meters. One of the standout features of the reporting system is that this system can record your personal best scores. You'll notice along the bottom tab it has personal best, extension and flexion. These values directly relate to the purple lines that you can see across the screen. Each purple line, now an individual exercising on this system has real-time feedback to be able to compare and challenge themselves to try and better their previous personal best scores. You will also notice red lines which directly relate to target torque values which have been pre-set up in the TRS. While the purple lines directly relate to the individual's personal best scores, the red lines are a target for the individual to try and strive and reach each session. For a detailed explanation, once again, make sure you watch the TRS demonstration within routine template management to set up these values. What will happen once the individual has completed their sets and routine is with a group, obviously the screen will go green, enabling their data to be saved. As an individual, the screen will prompt you asking, would you like to save data? The saved information will then be processed through to the TRS for the ability to generate reports. And please watch full demonstration on TRS navigation for more information. Part 2 of this presentation is to go over the server technology which is found on the MED equipment. The login and navigation is very similar to the manual dial. However, there are some key distinct differences in setting up the equipment for usage. We're going to log in under an administrator so we can get back-end access to calibration methods. As you log in, you'll notice it's the same format as the manual dial system with the programs loaded down the page. At the bottom of the page, there's 3 tab settings. Click on Setup. You'll notice there are 5 tabs. We want to click on Machine Management. You are advised to not play around with the figures that are found in any of the calibration methods within inside the kiosk. However, in the bottom right hand corner, you'll notice there's a tick box labelled Speed Control. This allows the system to recognize what speed limitations and settings to control the servo valves. Make sure that this button is clicked and remains on for any servo valve driven system. As you can see, the speed column behind these windows on the right hand side is the variable that controls the servo valve, as there are no manual dials to select resistance. All other calibrations should be left to the Teks service technician. The final change which you may wish to make is tolerance. You can change the tolerance by clicking Calibrate Torque and hitting OK. Tolerance is directly related to the range of motion sensor. When the range is set, in this case at 75 degrees, you can clearly see that the range is being tripped. Often when patients are exercising at rapid speeds, they may or may not reach the entire range. By adjusting the tolerance by 2 to 3 degrees at both points, so in this case 0 to 7 degrees, it means that the subject is able to reach the trip points much easier than having to go past the range on both sides. To adjust the tolerance, select Machine Management, and in the bottom left-hand corner you can see Angle Tolerance. By clicking on the number, you're able to adjust the degrees point on both angles for the trip sensor point. We do suggest, however, keeping the angle tolerance between 1 and 4 degrees.